Black women are perceived as being more rude in the workplace, literally just for existing, but also for speaking their mind or even just being introverted. I would say the worst part of existing in the United States as a person of color is always contending with racial stereotypes. It just seems like wherever you go in the United States, you're always being contextualized and racialized in a way that is just unnecessary, perhaps even in ways that are dehumanizing. Keep in mind that I don't really shy away from these conversations. My controversial opinion is that I actually don't really mind when people ask me, where are you from? Even though it can be a polarizing question, I would rather somebody ask the question and name that outright versus assume and get it wrong. But then again, I did have a conversation with somebody once that did illuminate something else to me about this topic. I had this conversation with a friend who is also biracial and of a similar admixture to me. I mentioned in the scope of this conversation that I don't really mind when people ask me where I'm from, and her response was that as a woman, she felt that she really didn't like the question because it usually came from the mouths of men. Men, that is to say, who were trying to assign a stereotype to her to see what she would be like as a romantic partner. So that goes to show that whether it comes from out of community or even within community, racial stereotypes can still be quite a damaging experience. And I think that the longer we hold on to racial stereotypes, the more corrosive they become. Let's talk about Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, also known by her maiden name Meghan Markle. Within the past month, her show With Love Meghan has premiered on Netflix and has generated a lot of buzz, I would even say controversy. Even though it's a pretty well-watched show and there's plenty of reviews out there on YouTube, the critical reception of With Love Meghan seems to be pretty polarized. Catherine Van Arendonk of Vulture wrote that With Love Meghan is an utterly deranged, bizarro world voyage into the center of nothing. Wow, way harsh. And overall, I feel like Meghan's reputation has preceded her in the scope of this show being released. Slightly before the show premiered, there was an article in the Mirror that talked about Meghan's behavior while she was still a member of the royal family. Just to recap, Meghan, when she was Meghan Markle, was an actress. She appeared on the TV show Suits. Then she met the former Prince Harry of the British royal family. She was a member of the royal family for a time before her and Harry both left the royal family and pursued a joint career in media. Here's what the article from the Mirror says. A former royal aide has broken his silence after accusing Meghan Markle of bullying junior palace staff. Jason Nauf has said he, quote, wouldn't change anything if offered the chance to take back the shocking allegations. The claims against the Duchess of Sussex, that is Meghan, came to light 4 years ago and suggested she reduced staffers to tears when she lived at Kensington Palace. She has vehemently denied the allegations. There's also this other article in the Mirror, which is titled, Meghan Markle slams bullying claims as she reveals how she really treats her staff. But what's interesting is that in the scope of this article, they use this header image. This image appears to be a screen cap from With Love Meghan, but it does seem to suggest the narrative here, right? Let's put our media literacy goggles on. We're pairing this image of Meghan, where she has a bit of a neutral expression, but maybe a little bit of an intense eye contact, with this title about her slamming bullying claims. This is generally a juxtaposition you see with unambiguous black women when the media is trying to portray them in a certain way. That is to say, a negative way, where they are being portrayed as rude, difficult, or hard to work with. Look, I'm really not interested in debating whether or not Meghan Markle is black or identifies as black or should be associated with the black community. The fact of the matter, though, is that Meghan is a woman of color. It's really not up for debate that since she joined the fray of the royal family and her husband, Harry, she was subject to racism and racial vitriol. So whether or not Meghan is racialized as black in every context, she is still falling privy to stereotypes about black women. In the scope of this article by The Mirror and these allegations about her behavior while she was a royal, it's clear that the angry black woman trope is being invoked here. Now, a hostile work environment can happen anywhere. We've even seen this recently with Kenya Moore being fired from Real Housewives of Atlanta for creating a hostile work environment for her coworkers. Now, there's no excusing bad behavior, but I do find it interesting that the main accuser of this workplace bullying saga with Meghan is a white British man. I think it mirrors a lot of conversations that black women have had in the past couple years about what it's like being a black woman in the workplace. Specifically, the interactions that black women have in the workplace with their white coworkers is often very marked. Black women are perceived as being more rude in the workplace, literally just for existing, but also for speaking their mind or even just being introverted. So it does make me wonder a bit about what Meghan Markle was really doing, whether or not she was really this tyrant or whether she was falling prey to the perception of her that she wasn't being deferent enough, that she wasn't being ladylike enough. So these are stereotypes that have dogged black women for a long time, right? The sort of angry sapphire trope. I can even think back to when Meghan first met Harry. There was a lot of questioning of her intentions to why she was pursuing him and why she later married him. I remember there being a lot of chatter about why she was marrying Harry and what her intentions were. right? Like whether she was trying to use him to be famous or whether there was a sort of duplicitousness to why she was pursuing him in the first place. To me, there's like a hint, just a little bit of a flavor of a Jezebel stereotype in there as well. The subtext being that as a mixed race woman pursuing this white man, that she was corrupting him in some way. So again, I don't know this lady. I've never met her. I don't want to be super parasocial about it. You are free to feel how you personally feel about her, and whether you want to watch the show or not, that is your personal choice. I personally don't have Netflix, so I probably won't be tuning in. But to say it again emphatically, whether or not you believe Meghan Markle is black, she is still falling prey to racialized stereotypes. Even with the chatter going on right now about the show being rather pointless and navel-gazing, I do question this notion that she would have to make something that is so poignant and expressive. So the question remains, would this be an issue if Meghan Markle was white? If she was the same person, but a white woman that had been in media, then pursued Prince Harry, then been a royal, then left the royal family, and then launched a media career, would she still be subject to all of this chatter? As it's been said already, it's not every day that a woman of color, and specifically a black woman, gets this opportunity and platform to be a cultural tastemaker. And I'm sure that there have been other rumors about your Gwyneth Paltrow and your Martha Stewart that have gone around about them being rude or difficult to work with, but those stereotypes have not stuck in the way that they really have stuck to Meghan. I still believe that Meghan is a rather random target for this sort of vitriol. I don't really understand why she is getting this much flack because of the fact that she is not an agitator. She is a public figure, but she is just kind of existing and is still the target of all of this criticism. Criticism that I don't believe she would be receiving if she was a white woman. Whether or not you end up watching the show, whether or not you end up liking the show, just keep that in mind. If you want some additional perspectives on Meghan, I'll link some videos down below. Alright guys, that's the video. Please let me know how you feel about it in the comments. In the meantime, stay connected, stay rooted, and stay dramatic. Bye.